Though it is, we don't get snow. Like where you get, you definitely don't get snow, and where I at, we don't get snow either. Wait, California gets snow? The only reason I say that because I didn't know. Because Texas getting snow here is well. Oh no, it got snow one year, but nigga, that was years ago. That was when I was young. I think I was in middle school when it last really snowed, like when it really snowed, because it was ice on the ground. Because I was like, oh no, nah, we didn't have that much snow. We ain't never had that much snow. Um, oh no, that's crazy. When you hear that one out loud, that's crazy. That's weird. No, that's why he's not said that. I'm like, that don't sound right. You getting snow in the weirdest times. Literally getting snow in the weirdest times. That's crazy. Yep, not surprised. For me, uh, I like playing MMORPGs. That's one of my favorite MMORPGs, fighting games, and racing games. Block tails? No. I also like bandit beaters. That's kind of the reason why I also play these. Yes, I have. Nope. I'm not much of a Hollow Knight kind of guy. I've seen gameplay for Hollow Knight. It's just I'm not much of a Hollow Knight kind of guy. Silk Song? In Silk Song basically just a harder version of normal Hollow Knight. Yeah, that's the reason I said it. I mean, I'm not surprised. They did kind of wanted to have more. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I said there ain't nothing wrong with that. Excuse me? How is that? How is that? First of all, how is that possible? It literally, it's literally one of the only games that crashed multiple markets. I mean, I mean, oh, you tell me, oh, come on. It probably will. Mhm. Honestly, I cannot tell you. You might want to ask them why they're trying to kill their own game. I mean, maybe, but like, this is not the way to have other people play your other game, G. That is not a way to make people play your other game. Yeah, I haven't. I have heard of Hollow Knight. I mean, I won't be able to see it because I'm on what's the name? I'm on PS5, so I won't but not be able to see it unless I'm in Discord. Not surprised. Yeah, it's definitely raining like hell outside.
Are Warframes heroes? I can't believe this is a question, and likely not in the way you think. No, Warframes are not heroes. You are not the good guy. You are just better than the rest. Here's the thing, a hero and an anti hero both fight the bad guys. The difference is how and why. A hero pursues justice in a way you can actually justify. They hold the line they won't cross, even when crossing it with people. Think Captain America. An anti-hero gets the same job done, but they break the rules to do it. They often kill when a hero wouldn't. They serve themselves first and the greater good second. The result might look heroic, the method never is. A warframe, it lives in the grave, always has. They started as mercenaries, and that's basically what they still are. Hired blades keeping the old system balanced, the Grenier and the Corpus. Now, are the things around them awful? Absolutely. The Grenier are a bloated clone empire. The Corpus worship profit over people. The Infested are a screaming nightmare. So yeah, a warframe is often the lesser of the evils. Lesser evil is still evil though. And remember what a warframe actually is. It's a meat puppet, a mutated husk piloted by a kid sitting somewhere else, steering it like a drone. That husk does things to people that would be war crimes literally anywhere else. We rip apart enemies, we burn them, drown them, put them in a black hole, infect them, make them have spider babies. As a warframe, you are the best example of using excessive force for literally no reason. You are a nuke versus crying babies. It's heinous. And to the kids in Cena's worshipping warframes, bless their hearts, they are traumatized. So picture an actual hero like Captain America watching a warframe operate. You think he looks at this thing and says, "There's a hero"? No, he does not. Best case scenario, we are anti-heroes, a monster on a leash at worst.
Here, among many heinous things, you said you wanted to flatten Gaza. Trump said if I was ever in trouble, I could use this. This is hell, not jail. Any chance living secretly as a latent homosexual undoes a life of bigotry and warmongering? No. And you can't just switch someone in because Glitch refuses to die. Well, why not? Honestly, it makes you look unprofessional. I thought of that. That's why I got him right after his trip to Ukraine. So it kind of looked like I had something to do with it. Fine, sit in between Ann Widdecombe and Charlie Kirk. Anything, trust me, I want to. It's disgusting how Democrats are celebrating his death. Oh, I wouldn't say they're celebrating. They could be dancing for any reason. I am so happy Lindsey Graham is dead. Yup, Republicans would never stoop so low. When Robert Mueller died, you said, good, I'm glad he's dead. Totally different. And you have to pay E. Jean Carroll $5.8 million for sexual assault, which I'm not paying. Lindsey Graham dying and Mitch McConnell being 1 foot in the grave really screws up your Senate numbers, which is why we need to save America Act pass. That's not going to happen, and you're going to have to try and win an election without suppressing voters. Wow, there's a good part. Oh yeah, there's a whole ass war going on. It's PD time all over Iraq. We're still calling bombings PD time. There's activity at multiple nuclear sites. You said multiple times they were all obliterated. I did. They are. I know. I vow revenge for my father's murder with a sternly worded letter. We are going to take out the president. This ceasefire never stood a chance. I've got strict instructions should I be assassinated. This just says, abort Eric. I've brought you someone.
Did you say it's abort Eric?
Really gay. That's because it's...
You. Why aren't you getting any food? Don't tell me he's on a diet too. Are guys this competitive nowadays? Hearing that, I put down my phone and gave him a gentle smile. How is that possible? I still want to eat more and grow taller. He blinked, suddenly realizing something. His eyes suddenly turned red. Wait, shouldn't I be the one buying him food? He's my master now. After all, what is wrong with my brain? Looking a bit embarrassed and annoyed with himself, he immediately stood up and said, "What do you want to eat? I'll go buy it for you." I had no idea what he was imagining.
Without suppressing.
I'll go buy it for you. I had no idea what he was imagining in his head. I glanced at him, pointed at the malatang, and asked, Anyu, how much was this bowl of malatang? Lin Anyu thought I wanted to eat it, so he obediently replied, $42. Looks pretty good, right? I bet it tastes amazing. I nodded, and casually pulled the malatang over to my side, saying, if you eat malatang tonight, all that working out will be for nothing. I'll eat this. Lin Anyu looked a bit depressed, but he didn't dare argue. He had no choice but to quickly polish off his pan-fried dumplings, and then started on his egg-fried rice. Whew. Next time, don't make the malatang so spicy. He suddenly heard my slightly hoarse voice. Lin Anyu glanced at me, seeing fine beads of sweat on my forehead, and noticing me clearing my throat every now and then. He started feeling guilty. What do? I shouldn't have ordered something so spicy. I feel kind of bad for him. Then, he hesitantly took his untouched watermelon juice and handed it to me, who knew that after I took the juice and took a sip, I'd habitually critique it. Also, don't add so many meatballs next time. And how many portions of noodles did you put in here? It's a bit much, I can't even finish it. Hearing this, Lin Anyu's guilt vanished, completely, replaced by a hint of schadenfreude. He reached his hand out toward me. If you're so capable, don't drink it. Give me back my watermelon juice. The two of us finished eating amidst our bickering. When Lin Anyu came back from returning his tray, he noticed a WeChat transfer notification. He looked confused and asked me, why did you transfer money to me? I put my phone away, and as we walked out, I said, I confiscated your snacks this morning, so I'm not giving them back. Plus, this covers tonight's dinner. Consider it settled. Lin Anyu quickly waved his hands. You didn't have to pay me. I understand. It's all for my own good. Seeing his goofy, naive look, I couldn't help but tease him. From now on, whenever I catch you buying snacks, I'll confiscate them all. Also, I suggest you behave yourself. If I see you buying too much food next time, I'll intercept that too. But this is already the result of me controlling myself. Why are you so strict? Lin Anyu felt a bit wrong. We reached the fork in the stairs, and I reminded him, go back and rest for a bit. I'll wait for you downstairs in an hour. We're doing 4 laps around the track before you turn in.
During his freshman year, he was the poorest student in class, while a girl named Kawanwan was the type whose family literally owned mines. One day, during a boring game of truth or dare, she lost a bet, and the stakes were a staggering 90,000 yuan. Everyone assumed she would back out, but she transferred the money on the spot with a simple note. A bet is a bet. From that day on, his life changed completely, starting with the expensive seafood rice he used to avoid at the cafeteria. He began ordering it every day, and at the milk tea shop downstairs, he went from being a part-time worker to a regular customer. He could finally afford the full set of study materials at the library, and Wanwan never once asked how much he spent. He never offered her an explanation either, and by graduation 4 years later, his account held exactly 82 cents. Her money had lasted just long enough for him to get his degree and a job offer, but 4 years after that, he found himself under a bridge. There, we see him spot a huddled figure with a filthy face and tattered clothes. But he recognized those eyes. It was Gu Wan Wan, whose family had reportedly gone bankrupt after her parents fled. She had been left to shoulder all the debt alone, so he knelt down and reached out his hand. He asked her simply if she would go with him. If she would go with him. We return to the past, where he was shoveling down a bowl of plain rice and free soup on the third floor of the cafeteria when his phone rang. The screen lit up with the name Zhou Hao, and as he pressed answer, his fingers were still sticky with grains of rice. Zhou Hao told him to hurry to room 302 at the Jinbi Huiwang KTV, as it was Wan Wan's birthday. He frowned, wondering why the birthday of the richest girl in class had anything to do with him. He tried to decline, but Zhou Hao insisted that Wan Wan had called for him personally before hanging up. Looking at his half-finished bowl of rice, he lost his appetite, knowing that going meant spending money he didn't have. Splitting the bill would cost at least 2 or 300, which was half a month's living expenses, a price he couldn't pay. Yet, it was Wan Wan who had personally asked for him, and in a class where he had no friends except for his roommate Zhou Hao, that meant something. Knowing there was no benefit in offending her, he set down his chopsticks and left the cafeteria, feeling the bite of the autumn wind. He pulled his faded old jacket tighter against the chill. The KTV wasn't far from campus, so he walked for 20 minutes. The waiter at the door gave him a look, one that said everything, but he ignored it and headed straight for the third floor. The door to room 302 wasn't fully closed, and the music inside was deafening. He pushed it open to reveal a massive private suite. Over 20 people were inside, with tables overflowing with fruit platters, snacks, and expensive liquor. Gu Wanwan sat right in the center. She was wearing a beautiful dress, looking every bit like a princess. Zhou Hao spotted him and waved him over immediately. He walked over and sat on a sofa in the corner. No one paid him any mind as they all crowded around Wan Wan, laughing. Between the singing and the dice games, he felt utterly out of place. To be honest, the very air smelled like money. After a while, someone suggested that singing was getting boring and they should play something more exciting, truth or dare. The crowd cheered as a wine bottle began to spin on the table. Deep down, he prayed it wouldn't point at him. It narrowly missed him several times, but eventually, the bottleneck stopped right in front of Wan Wan, sparking a roar of cheers. They asked if she wanted truth or dare. Wan Wan, her cheeks slightly flushed from the alcohol, gave a playful smile. She chose Dare, a boy named Li Sha, who always loved being the center of it. My wife just lost a brutal game of truth or dare, and her friend interrogated her in fluent Portuguese. The final question, when did you last fulfill your marital duties? A week ago, she replied. Then where was the most passionate encounter you've ever had? Yesterday, on the northern deck. The moment those scandalous words escaped her lips, an instant uproar erupted through the room. Meanwhile, the bright moonlight, standing right beside her, flushed crimson all the way to his ears, quickly covering her mouth to silence her. But Milan merely flashed a seductive, mesmerizing smile. Her inner circle of close friends wasted no time, joining in on the chaos, asking, when do you plan to show your cards to Shun Feng? Oh, she turned her gaze toward Jiangyu beside her. Instead, the moment Jiangyu gives me the number, I will leave him instantly. Inside, the atmosphere was chaotic, incredibly rowdy, so absolutely no one noticed. Me standing outside the door, feeling as if I had plunged into an icy abyss. After staring at his face, I dialed my lawyer. Mister, Shun, your divorce agreement has already been delivered. Once signed, it will officially take effect in 1 month. I fell silent for a few agonizing seconds before asking. The sooner I sign it, the sooner. The divorce cooling off period begins, right? Precisely, Mr. Shun. After hanging up the phone, I dragged myself step by step to the front desk, picked up the thick folder, and pulled it up.
For the literal first time in my career, my attention span is actually coming back. Okay, I read a newsletter and edit for a startup, which basically means that I judge.
The great irony is, of course, that Donald Trump is the son of an immigrant, the grandson of an immigrant, and married to an immigrant. In fact, 2 of his 3 wives were immigrants, proving yet again that immigrants will do the job that even Americans are not willing to do.
Oh, what a mic drop that was. It's really important for us to remember our history. Unless you're one of the first Americans, a Native American, you came from someplace else. Somebody brought you. The Irish, who left behind a land of famine. The Germans, who fled persecution. The Scandinavians, who arrived eager to pioneer out west. The Polish, the Russians, the Italians, the Chinese, the Japanese, the West Indians, the huddled masses who came through Ellis Island on one coast and Angel Island on the other. All those folks, before they were us, they were them.
From the very beginning, Black Americans have been a vital part of the American story, helping to make this the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Let's continue to correct the propaganda and the attempt at erasing the truth. Black Americans are not the descendants of the Indians in the history books. They are the Indians. The proof has been buried, but it's not gone. When Christopher Columbus washed upon these shores, lost and delirious, who did he write that he found? He called them Indios. He mapped a land he labeled India Superior, territory that included Florida. He wasn't hallucinating an empty land. He was documenting people who were already there. These images can be found in Gran Canaria, Spain, in the Columbus Museum, Casa de Colón. And who were those people? They weren't the pale-skinned Siberians who crossed a land bridge, that's for sure. The historical records, the artwork from the era, the very descriptions, they detail people with dark skin, with hair textures that Europeans had never seen. They describe the original people as dark-skinned and woolly hair, the true owners of the soil. The people that Columbus met were Black Americans, the West Indians of the Caribbean, the Indians of the North and South American coasts. All of these territories were Black civilizations. Native Americans are the erasure. They are the last part of the destiny swap, a foreign invasive group from Siberia, and was grafted onto the identity of the people who were already here, while the original people were systematically reclassified, enslaved, and renamed to sever their claim to the land. The Indian Removal Act was a removal of Black indigenous nation. The face on the old nickel, the buffalo nickel, that proud profile was a Black indigenous man, an American Indian. Every time someone speaks about Native American history, while pointing to a group that arrived later, they are perpetuating the final stage of the conquest, the theft of the victim's identity. They replace the people in the story. Black Americans are not a people without a land. They are the land. They are India superior. They are the Indians that Columbus didn't miss, and that every power since has tried to make you unsee. The map doesn't lie. The history books do.
It's about tribal warfare. That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the U.K. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, you're sorry. Your parents are from India, so
I'm an
you have your own states.
I'm an American.
You're an American citizen? Okay, fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely. Okay. But here's
Not sure how you got that. Okay.
born here.
Okay.
Born here in my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here, okay?
Sure.
A little different.
You're a descendant of immigrants.
No.
Colonialists.
Yeah,
Colonialists.
yeah.
Very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites are Native Americans. What are you talking about?
No.
What are you talking about? Whites are Native Americans.
What was happening before the
I think you're getting confused with
I don't mind going
I
over
think
what's happening before the 1500s.
I think you're getting.
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that
Yeah.
you're
You know what indigenous means?
Listen, before
Indigenous people come
let
from
me
somewhere
finish.
else.
Let me ask a question if you're going to interrupt.
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means.
No, you do
They
not.
came here first, right? They came here from Asia by way of land bridge. I haven't argued with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he an
I
American?
genuinely don't care. Yes, he is. So my point is,
Okay, nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these
you
people
just
are criminals.
I'm trying to
You
stay
think to ask me where I'm from. I think you do now. This conversation will connect like that. Because I'm just wondering what has to do with crime.
just
We're
curious.
just talking about immigration. Don't worry, later on you can come back.
I hope so.
Right now, you're doing a very bad job of making the case that he's not pro-crime.
I just got a round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it. So I don't think I'm just
Background football, you sit around with 20 people who agree with you.
Wow.
Amazing.
Europeans come to this continent, literally ethnically cleanse the indigenous population out of existence, kill them on a scale that has hardly been equaled, and refer to them as savages. That's an achievement. Who's the savage? The first time I encountered this was in a little town in Massachusetts called Deerfield. It's a reconstruction of what that little town looked like in colonial America. And in front of each house,
My head.
that explains something about this house. And then description. On the 18th of October of 1702, the savages attacked. The first time I saw this, the savages. You come in here, destroy everything these people have, and they are the savages. That's that's an interesting move.
It is.
You know,
I hadn't thought of that before.
think about it.
Guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Now, when you have reached to a point whereby you are starting to realize that you cannot control your own house, or you cannot control someone, or you are seeing that someone that you have been hating so much, he has started to become more successful than you. Now you will start to do something which is not normal. Now this is happening because we are seeing that right now we've been seeing majority of white people that have been losing the grounds towards black people. They have been now losing the control over black people, and also they've been seeing majority of black people that are becoming more successful, while for them they are now struggling in America. Now they are now coming out and claiming that it is now the right time for them to make sure that black people that are going back to their country. It is so funny because we know the history of America. We know this land, America, it belongs to the original black American people. Now, for them coming out and claiming that they want to kill black people, it is so shocking because it seems like also for them, they know the truth, but they want the truth to be hidden. They want black people to be kicked out because of how they are becoming more successful and because of how they are losing control and power over them. Now, guys, I want you to watch the rest of the video, then I'll be back with more comments.
More games end in 5 to 4, 4, 1, and 0.
That's an easy one.
So Google says a single major professional final has ended 5-4. Well, I love 5-4 as a striker.
People lose their jobs when games are fighting.
Because I'm always going to pay to win.
Jaws big book. Top down and focus down.
On slavery in America, we focus on Europeans and brought enslaved Africans here. But what about Native Americans? What were they doing while this was going on? The answer is complicated. Let's talk about it. Before European settlers started enslaving Africans, they tried to enslave Native Americans first, but it didn't work out the way they planned. Native Americans knew the land way too well, so obviously they escaped all the time. They had strong community ties. Other tribes would hide and protect them, and they fought back hard. So colonizers turned to the transatlantic slave trade instead. But here's where it gets interesting. Some native tribes, they actually helped enslaved black people escape. The Seminoles in Florida, they took in runaway slaves and lived together as allies. The Underground Railroad didn't just go north. Some runaways escaped west to native lands. There were even black native communities, like the Black Seminoles who fought against slavery together. White settlers hated this, of course. They launched wars just to break up these alliances. But here's the part they don't like to talk about. Some native tribes, especially in the southeast, owned enslaved black people. The Cherokee, Choctaw, Creek, and even some of the Seminoles had plantations with enslaved Africans. They passed laws keeping black folks enslaved, just like the white settlers did. But after the Civil War, some of those tribes, they still refused to free black people until they were actually forced by the U.S. government. Why? Because they saw the U.S. rewarded white slave owners. They got power, they got land, and some thought mimicking them would help them survive. Native Americans weren't just bystanders during slavery. Some were oppressed right along with black people. Some were allies in the fight for freedom. And yeah, some actually participated in slavery. History is messy. People make choices based on survival. But the truth? Black and Native struggles are deeply connected, and understanding those connections helps us fight the same systems today. They don't teach you this in school for a reason, but now you know. What are you going to do with that knowledge?
A lot of people don't know that America tends to cover up the history of its Afro-Native Americans. Okay, so the Native American depiction that they mainly show in the mainstream is often a straight-haired, lighter complected um, almost Euro representing person. However, the kinky haired black beings, we're also Native Americans. I am Native American in the flesh. So make sure you guys are tapping into your history, know where you really come from, know what land you originate from. You know, I say up.
Columbus didn't discover America. You can't discover a place where people are already living. But we celebrate that every October. It's a lie. We need to get over the. We need to stop telling the myths and start telling the truth. If we start teaching the truth about history, if we start teaching about Nile Valley contributions to civilization, we can totally change the way we conduct ourselves in the classroom.
What the hell?